Afternoon. My name is Kevin Schmiegel. I'm the Executive Director of Hiring Heroes at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and you're joining us on VetNet. Today we have a great, sound a little bit Australian there. Today we have a great panel led by two gentlemen from a company that has huge opportunities for veterans, prospective employees inside their company. I'm joined today by August Nielsen. Raise your hand, August. You don't have little captions like mine. August is the Human Resources Director for Veterans United Home Loans. And we're also joined by Eric Morse, who's a...
Good eye, Kevin.
Hey, how are you, Eric? He's the recruitment virtuoso at Veterans United. So sounds like a guy you would all like to get to know. Veterans United Home Loans is responsible for hiring over 1,000 employees in the past 5 years. And it's a company recently named the #1 job creator nationally in the financial industry by Inc. magazine, as well as making the Great Place to Work top 25. I want to focus this discussion largely on opportunities right there at Veterans United Home Loans, but I also want to point out why this is important to your company and why veterans should be considered as prospective employees. Veterans United Home Loans is the nation's largest dedicated provider of VA loans, and it's dedicated to making the American dream of homeownership a reality for those who have served our country. So I think, without putting anyone on the spot, I am going to turn it over to August first, since you sound like you're the senior guy on the couch there.
Okay, great. Well, we're just thrilled to be here, and we just want to talk with everyone about transitioning from the military into the corporate world and how to get a job and things that you can do to position yourself and highlight your military experience so that you're in the best position to get a job.
That's great. How about you, Eric? You're looking good there too.
You are.
Why don't you add something to that?
Well, I'm second in seniority on the couch. Absolutely happy to be here. You know, we actually, I just in another office I was just in here in the company, I just saw a sign we have your uniform is your resume, and I think that is something that you know, we certainly acknowledge the skills that come along with service and very much value those. And so I think this is a great opportunity for us and for everyone here present just to talk about that a little bit.
That's great. It's funny, one of the things that we recently launched through our own program is a tool for veterans to write their resumes. Maybe a good topic to start with, because I think a lot of younger veterans in particular are kind of limiting their opportunities in the private sector by only talking about their military occupation and how it translates to a job. Your company, and as you're looking to hire people, you should probably, I would assume you're looking for softer skills, right? Intangibles. You're not just looking for a guy who helped people with home loans in the military. That's not feasible. So what are the type of skill sets you look for generally?
Well, this is actually a discussion we just had yesterday. I think that is one of the major obstacles that we see. Sometimes we see 6-7 page resumes, very technical resumes, and what's included in those is incredible. I mean, the accomplishments that are on there, the positions held, what an individual did while they held those positions, what it took to get there. The problem is, for us, not necessarily having that experience ourselves, it is tough for us to translate that into some of the corporate soft skills. Likewise, we know it's difficult for someone coming from the military to translate their skills into what we can read. And so the help that you guys are providing is certainly very valuable, because I guess Augie's told me recruiters are lazy, and
I wouldn't say all of them.
I guess Augie's told me that I'm lazy. You know, recruiters spend a few seconds on each resume, and if we are going to be looking in and trying to translate skills that someone has in the military into the exact skills that we're looking for in positions we have, it's a little more difficult if we don't know the terms that we're reading. And so finding a way to turn that into, for example, leadership skills, communication skills, things that we can take away and put into a position that we might be looking to fill, that goes a lot further in actually applying for and attracting us to your application for a certain position.
Well, I mean, some of the resumes that come through your systems online, I assume they get weeded out if they don't have certain keywords too, right?
We don't do a keyword scrub of anything. We look at every resume that comes in. What I can say is that recruiters typically will spend less than 10 seconds on a resume. So what are you going to do as an applicant to make sure that your resume stands out? If it's 4 pages long and full of jargon and all kinds of things that are germane to the military, a recruiter with no military experience is likely going to pass that by because they won't understand it. So really using the tools that are available to you to translate those skills from the military to the private sector are going to only help you. But long resumes are likely going to get passed over. So make it concise, make it readable, and make it easy for guys like him to read.
And we may be talking more about this later, but I don't want to get away from that experience being valuable in sharing your experiences with us.
Absolutely.
In an interview setting, please do that because we do need to know those accomplishments and those positions. The resume will get you in, and then take the time to expand on those experiences you've had once you're in.
That's great. I think with a little bit of self-promotion for hiring our heroes in the program that I lead, we talk about this technology that we released last week, and you guys should probably take a look at it and give us your feedback on the engine itself. What we're showing to the viewers on the screen is something called the Personal Branding Resume Engine. And essentially what we've tried to do is to encourage service members to brand themselves and create a resume that doesn't have military jargon, but that tells not just the story about what they did in their military occupation, but talk about their schools and their awards and their deployments and their leadership responsibilities. And we tested this with 100 or so HR managers and asked them for keywords that they look for in resumes so that the younger veteran in particular has a tool that can kind of focus them like a laser on the things that HR managers are looking for, but not just the specific skills, the intangibles, the softer skills. It allows them to paint that picture. So if you two guys have a chance to look at that, we'd appreciate your feedback.
Absolutely.
As well.
Sure.
Let's shift over to the actual job opportunities that are available. Maybe you could talk about, of the 1,000 you hired over the last 5 years, what has been the biggest, the biggest area or the biggest job description, and what are the criteria for that job?
Well, we've hired all kinds of people in all different areas. Probably the most would be in our loan operations and loan origination, so loan officers, loan processors or account managers. We've hired a lot of people in the marketing area, so you can speak a little more. We've had some more specialized positions like mortgage underwriters, but really we're hiring pretty much at all levels of the organization right now.
Yeah, and directly to military experience, also some of the more technical positions that we've had. Some of those skills are incredible the way they've been used in actual practice, and then coming over here and using those the way we need them in the corporate setting also. There is maybe a little more of a direct transition from some of those technical skills. Also, there are files and paperwork and some of what may be seen as minutia that needs to be done, more the process-oriented things that have to be done in a military setting as well as a corporate setting. And seeing the people that can focus on the production but not lose sight of being detail-oriented along the way, I mean, those are things that can be trained, and so they're things we assume have been trained, and we know we can find them, and we've hired people for those skills.
One of the questions we just got, do you have a program specifically for wounded warriors or disabled veterans? Is there a program in place that is designed to focus on some of the unique challenges that they have, opportunities, work from home, anything like that specifically?
We don't have any specific programs surrounding that, but we welcome anyone that would like to apply, and we'd certainly love to talk with anyone.
We also do always look for any sort of partnerships that if there are agencies or organizations that serve those individuals that are looking to find jobs also. I mean, we're always looking for other sources for us to find the right candidates as well. And if there are agencies or organizations out there that serve those individuals that are trying to find positions, we certainly would like to hear from them and see if there's any way that we might be able to work together.
It seemed to me that since the population you're serving, based on the name, it would make sense to have among your employee base folks who have served, if you're catering to that community. Do you have a website online that's easy to use for them to go online, or is most of the application process face-to-face, or how does that work?
Please go to veteransunited.com/careers, and you can see all of our current open positions right now. And then there's also a way that you can contact us directly should you not see something that you were wanting at that point. You can always email me, and I'll take a look at your resume too. So veteransunited.com/careers is the place to go.
And currently and usually we have positions across the United States that are available as well. We work with people that are maybe local to one of our branches or looking to potentially relocate to a certain area or to here in Columbia, Missouri. But we do have, right now we have positions available across the United States, and on a regular basis we do as well.
Okay, great. Well, we called up the site, so people know what it looks like anyway. When they get there, they'll know they're visiting your site. Can you talk about some of the challenges you've seen with veterans, and particularly those younger veterans who have come for an interview, where you think that they were strong, where you think they were weak, but maybe over the last couple of years, as you've spoken to them, if you had any advice on the stuff that they've done really well, that they should continue to do well, and stuff they haven't done so well. Sometimes that's a better way of getting them to do the right things in interviews.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, another thing we were talking about recently, the resume, like I said, the resume might be the way for you to get in. But once you're in talking to us, don't be afraid to brag on yourself a little bit, and specifically yourself. We recently talked to Sergeant Major Chapman, who told us that one of the challenges that military personnel might have is coming in with the mentality of what our team achieved. And while that's great, and while those accomplishments are incredible, what we want to know is what you specifically achieved. And almost at times it's as if it's taboo to brag on yourself, but it's you that I'm interviewing, and it's you that I want to know what makes you great. How did you do things presented with the opportunities you've gotten or the situations that you've been through? How did you do great things whereas somebody else might not have been able to?
And I would add that that's probably the only time that you want to brag on yourself, because the things that we want in an employee, teamwork, loyalty, those things. And so when you're in the interview, it's certainly brag on yourself. Don't boast, but brag and let us know what your accomplishments are. But once you're in, then it's all about the team once again. So use that interview for you only, because your teammates aren't there. And certainly don't exaggerate what your accomplishments are, but let us know what you specifically did.
And another tip for somebody coming into a corporate setting to interview, if it may be the first time they've been interviewing in a corporate setting, spend time on that. Let's say for us, spend time on our website. That is one of the most important things you can do to get to know why I might be asking you certain questions, what questions I might ask you, what as a company we feel is important, and find ways that what you feel is important and what makes you strong mirrors what we hold true and what our values are as a company. That's where I'm going to be coming from when I ask you questions, and quite possibly I'll even ask you what you thought of our website. I do that. And it's people who don't take the time to research a company where they're interviewing. It's a great step for you to show how serious you are about that company specifically, about that position for which you're interviewing. But it's a great way for you also to know, is that the right fit for you? Have you chosen the right interview? And why? How can you expect to answer certain questions that we might be asking you also.
That's great. I think the importance of teamwork, I think the loyalty aspect fits right into veterans. What about specific criteria? Are college degrees required for most of the jobs or all the jobs that you're advertising for, or is that not a big requirement?
They're not required. They are preferred, but if you've got compensating experience, for example, all the schools that you've gone through, you don't happen to have your degree just yet, but you've gone through all these different trainings. Again, if you can find a concise way to put those on your resume, I know that we'll certainly take that into account in lieu of a degree.
Okay. Do you have programs for service members who may not come with a degree that they can work their way through school at night or on the weekends? Obviously, a lot of the folks that we're looking to place through our program do not have college degrees. I would say a vast majority of the folks that we see in communities are in that situation, but they have a GI Bill. They've started to use it. Have you guys looked at a program where they can come on, start work, and work towards their bachelor's degree at night?
Sure, we have plenty of employees, military and non-military alike, that are working towards their degrees in their spare time. So that's not a problem for us. And
most of our positions, the hours or the expectations, obligations that go along with those positions, they're pretty expected and upfront as far as if you're expected to be here during normal business hours, 8 to 5, 9 to 6, something like that. You'll be able to plan your schedule around that. One thing also, our company is very focused on, and for great reasons, very focused on a work-life balance as well. And while we do feel like we're a great priority in your life, we're not necessarily the greatest priority in your life, and you may have family or other things that are stronger than what you want to achieve at work, and we actually want to help you embrace that. And know that the things you can do personally and professionally to grow yourself, those are things that will translate over into how valuable you are in your work life as well, and the fulfillment you get overall. We don't want employment here to be seen as an obstacle to anything. It's an opportunity that we want to look into and that we want you to look into as well.
That's great. I have to be honest with the vets who are listening. This is a tough job market, so a lot of times they are competing with folks that have college degrees, and it's really important that they do a good job of branding themselves and marketing themselves when they have an opportunity to talk to folks like you for the first time. That resume engine that we built gives them not just keywords for a written resume, but they also have to consider the types of things they're going to say to employers when they have a chance to interview for the first time. And you get 90 seconds or less to give your elevator pitch. You better tell a good story about what you did if the next guy or gal that walks in the door has a college degree. Is there anything else that they should be particularly focused on in your sector? I tell a lot of younger people who are transitioning that they should get an IT background if they don't have one, or get credentialed or certified. Is there anything else specifically that would put them head and shoulders above other folks who are looking for a job?
That's certain. Those are easily measurable skills. You know, somebody with certifications, with certain experience in the technical field, that can certainly help. It also might take some time, and somebody who might be looking to get a job sooner than later, that might not be as feasible, although it might be something they work towards at night, as we discussed earlier. You know, when someone is in meeting with us, we have to be able to see greatness. Every position that we look to fill and every person we look to hire, we're looking to find a way to make that position or that department how we can serve those who have served our country, how we can serve them better. And so when looking specifically for a role with our company, what have you done it goes back to maybe bragging on yourself, what have you done that's not just good, but great and greater than some of the other great people you know? Spend some time with your mentor before you go in to an interview that you think might have a great impact on your future. And that interview may be an hour or less, but that might change the path you take. Spend some time with your mentor. Have them tell you why they think you are so great. And spend time talking to people that are not necessarily biased in your family. Run your resume through them, and then run through some of the experiences you look to share in that interview. Talk to other people who certainly already think you're wonderful, but aren't as biased as maybe your family might be, don't necessarily have the same sort of buy-in on whether or not they want you to get the job. Get some honest feedback. Are these stories and accomplishments that I'm sharing, do they portray how great I really am? And, being a recruiter and knowing that we don't necessarily have a finite number of positions to fill between now and whenever, I know that I'm always on a journey. I enjoy the journey. I enjoy hearing what people have to tell me. Being prepared to share some of those things certainly helps. And if a degree doesn't show up on your resume, or you can't wow me with certain specific things that you might bring from experience, I definitely want to know the situations you've been in that have allowed you to see your own greatness, and share that with me.
Absolutely. What is going to be your brand going into the interview? What are the key things that you want to get across about yourself that you need that employer to know? And back to your original question, what sets someone, a veteran, apart than from a college graduate? Well, it's your experience, as Eric said before. Your resume, your uniform is your resume. So definitely bring that out, because a lot of corporate recruiters just are not familiar with the military in any real sense. So just get across what you did and bring out those accomplishments, bring about those schools, bring about your promotions. I've been promoted 5 times. That speaks pretty highly, and that's something that a college graduate just can't say. So that really sets you apart.
Yeah, and that is a perfect advertisement for our resume engine. I think a lot of employers don't know a lot about veterans, don't know about the unique skills and leadership that they can bring to the workplace, and we want to focus on employers who do recognize that. One other question, we'll take more questions from veterans as they come up, but I was wondering, do you have a program specifically for military spouses, or is that just included in your program to hire veterans when you do outreach with military families?
Actually, there are some organizations for military spouses we're looking into right now. We have some applications out for those. What we want to do is there are already organizations that are helping source for military spouses that are looking for certain positions, and a lot of times that works out also with our geographic locations. We absolutely want to be able to work with military spouses. We have people in our company too. We measure the number of those with military experience that are in our company, but we have military spouses in our company as well, and they're passionate about finding ways to work with more military spouses. Also, some of the accomplishments that their spouses have seen, they've been there along the way, and they've in some ways been a part of those accomplishments.
So let me ask, what makes you among the great places to work in the top 25? I mean, you guys get a little paid advertisement and you get a bonus for and good things. I was going to say that I'm the only guy wearing a tie in this hangout, and talk a little bit about the matching shirts and see if that's a uniform there, because it seems like you guys are much more comfortable. You get to sit on a couch.
We do.
What makes it one of the great places to work in the top 25 recognition?
If you need to use Google Effects to put a tie on me, by the way, I'm fine with that.
It's our employees. Our employees make the culture. They make it a great place to work every day. It's contagious. Our values that we live by at work, and or all those taken into account, just make it just a fantastic place to be. I can't wait to come into work every single day, and I know Eric would say that too, right?
I better. That's absolutely part of it. You start talking about our uniform. We wear what's comfortable here. We don't have a dress code here. That doesn't necessarily impact how much I like to work here. But
it's nice.
It certainly is nice. But I walk in the morning, and I don't check myself at the door to go to work, and then check my work self at the door when I leave to go home. We get hundreds, if not thousands, of applications for employment every month. And that goes back to how much time we're able to spend on each resume also. But what that allows us to do as well is spend time finding people who not only can really get a lot done and really buy into our mission and what we're looking to do. They share our values. They came in likely with our values. They have a propensity for doing more. And while they're doing that, they can also really enjoy themselves. Maybe it's because they finally have the ability to do more in a corporate setting. Or maybe it's just because that's just how fun they are. So we're able to not only do more each month and have more asked of us, also along the way I'm going to be smiling and enjoy it. And that's because I'm surrounded by people that are doing the same thing. And I know that I'll be doing my job, Augie will be doing his job, and everybody around us will be looking for ways to better serve those we're working with, but along the way, we just can't stop enjoying it. And that goes back to those employees too. We surround ourselves with people like that, and it perpetuates itself.
That's great. And do you guys get your haircut just because it was it's Veterans United, or is that part of the uniform too?
This actually, I think this Hangout was sponsored by Flowbee, if they still make those. I'm not 100% sure. These haircuts make us fast.
Very fast.
Really fast.
It helps us read resumes 3 seconds faster.
I can see that.
It's an aerodynamic Hangout, and I appreciate you noticing.
Not a problem. I used to keep my hair short too. You guys have anything you guys want to add before we sign off, or anything I missed?
This doesn't have to be a one-time deal. For anybody that wants to reach out to us, Absolutely. Please do. We try to and hope to make ourselves accessible. We'd like to do that, so ultimately you might be able to find an opportunity to join our team. We also want to be accessible for anyone who just needs some help. You mentioned earlier what you guys are releasing to help people with their resumes, and that's wonderful. We actually are familiar with that, and we're welcome to being resources for you also. If you put these resumes together, run it through us, see if you're hitting the mark. We can certainly help out, and it's something that we do for people that are looking to work with us, other people that are just looking for a way to seek the right opportunities. And it doesn't ever hurt for you to know someone. And so whether it's looking for a position with Veterans United Home Loans or otherwise, build your network.
Well put.
I noticed.
Well done. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Really appreciate the opportunity, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. See ya.